Picture this, you're sorting through mail, mostly bills and a pizza flyer, when you find an envelope that looks official. Too official, it's from the county court. Your stomach drops a little. You've been called for jury duty. Nobody warns you how this actually works. You just get summoned, like the justice system reached into a hat and pulled out your name, which weirdly is almost exactly what happened. So, how did they find you? And what happens if you actually show up? It starts with something called the jury wheel. Courts maintain a giant pool of potential jurors, pulled at random from public records, usually voter registration and driver's license or state ID lists. Some places throw in tax records too. The court picks names at random from this wheel, the same way a raffle picks a winner, except the prize is a folding chair in a courthouse hallway. Once your name is picked, the court mails you a summons. This is a legal order, not a suggestion. Ignore it completely and you risk a fine, or getting called back to explain yourself to a judge, and in some places an actual warrant. So, step one is simple. Respond. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. Before you ever set foot in the building, there's a filtering round. You fill out a qualification questionnaire, and this single form quietly ends jury duty for a huge chunk of people. Not a US citizen? Excused. Under 18? Excused. Don't live in the county? Excused. Taking care of a sick relative? Serving in the military? Facing serious financial hardship? All valid reasons to be excused or postponed. No courthouse visit required. This is why so many people who get a summons never actually show up. They got filtered out before the story even really begins. If you make it past that stage, you report to the courthouse on your date. You're now part of a group called the venire, which is just a fancy word for a room full of strangers waiting to find out if they'll be needed. You sit, you wait. Some days nobody gets called at all and you go home. Other days, a courtroom needs a jury and a smaller group called a panel gets pulled from the venire and walked into an actual courtroom. This is where things get interesting. You now enter a process called voir, which is French for something like to speak the truth. The judge and the lawyers from both sides start questioning you. Sometimes they ask the whole group at once. Sometimes they pull people aside individually. It depends on where you are. They're trying to uncover anything that might affect whether you can judge this specific case fairly. Do you know anyone involved? Do you already have an opinion? Would this case hit too close to home? Based on your answers, you can get removed in one of two ways. A judge can dismiss you for cause, meaning there's a clear, provable reason you can't be impartial, and there's no limit to how many people can be removed this way. Or a lawyer can use something called a peremptory challenge, which lets them remove you without stating a reason at all. Sounds a little unsettling, but there is a major limit here. Lawyers aren't allowed to use these challenges based on race or gender. If the other side believes they did, they can raise what's called a Batson challenge, and the judge decides whether the strike was improper. That rule exists because of a real Supreme Court case, Batson versus Kentucky, decided in 1986 after a prosecutor struck every black juror from a panel. Whoever survives this filtering gets sworn in, and only now do you officially become a juror on this case. Once the trial starts, the rules get strict. You cannot discuss the case with anyone outside the jury. In most criminal trials, you can't even discuss it with your fellow jurors until deliberation officially begins. You just watch, listen, and wait. After both sides finish arguing, the judge hands the jury a set of legal instructions and you're sent into a private room to deliberate. This is where often 12 strangers try to reach a shared decision, sometimes in 20 minutes, sometimes over several days. Eventually you reach a verdict and the case ends. Here's the twist most people never realize. Despite all this machinery, most people who receive a jury summons will never actually sit through a trial. Some get filtered out at the questionnaire stage, some sit in the venire all day and never get called into a courtroom, and a huge number of cases get settled or plea bargained before they ever reach a jury at all. So that envelope in your mailbox isn't really a guarantee you'll judge someone's fate. It's an invitation to a lottery with several elimination rounds, and most tickets never make it to the final draw.